How's it going, everybody? Welcome back to another video. I'm very excited today to start a new challenge. So if you've been following the channel for the last few months, we were previously doing a challenge over at Lynchburg College where we were aiming to shoot 9 under through 9 holes at that course. We called that Chasing Perfect. That was a little series we did. Well, I wanted to start something new, a new challenge centered around just pure disc golf, since we do some other fun things on this channel. And I decided to come here to Sandusky Park, one of my favorite courses in the area. And I chose this course because it is a very scoreable course. On a good day, you can go really low. But if you're just a bit off, if your drives are just slightly errant, or if you're not making all your putts, you can find yourself near even par before you know it. The goal we are going for is to break 45. That's 12 under par 44 is what is required. There are 2 short par 4s, relatively short par 4s on this course. I think I've touched double digits maybe once on this course, but I know this is going to take my absolute best to do, and it'll probably take a few months of learning the course, developing a strategy in order to make it happen. I'm also going to be playing this series straight through 18 holes, no matter what. There'll be no restarts. So the entire video, even if I don't achieve the goal, will be a learning process, and we won't be restarting like we did in the last series. It's going to be much more of a pure 18-hole playthrough, and I'll do it monthly, maybe bi-monthly, based on if you enjoy it or not. Leave a like on this video if you want to see more of these. And yeah, without further ado, let's get into our first attempt. Hole 1 is 261 feet. The basket really just sits out there in the field. You have OB left of a path. You can go backhand right up the middle, or you can throw a forehand nice and high and wide. Personally, I go back and forth, but I think I like the forehand ultimately for this hole, because I think it's just a little too simple. You just need to make sure you don't throw it too high and you give it enough power. So I'm going to go time lapse and just kind of throw it out there flat and let it work back to the basket. That should be pretty good right there. I like that line a lot. Yeah, wow, that is a great start. We look pretty close. Because I should mention, these first 3 holes in this series are going to be very important. They're super scoreable, and you got to get off to a hot start if you're going to get 12 under. You'll definitely get more familiar with this course as I keep playing it through. Obviously, you've probably seen it a few times on this channel or Foundations if you've watched it there. But it is a very fun course. A lot of scoring. Every hole needs to be treated as a scoring opportunity, but there are definitely some that are more scoreable than others. And there's really only one very good eagle chance. There's another slight eagle chance on hole 10 we'll get to. But yeah, the goal, stepping up to each tee, is throw it close, make our putts, no bogeys. Like, we will not be able to do this with a bogey, most likely. All right, pretty good drive, but this right here is the story of Sandusky. When you play this course well, you get like 10 to 12 of these birdie putts around, and you make them. That's the kicker. You got to make these short ones. Bang, that's a good start. Good confident putt on 1. Like I said, we got to make, every time we get in sight of the basket, we got to make those. Hole 2 is about as simple as it gets. We're talking 229 feet on just a little hyzer. And at this time of the year, when the grass is dead, you can play a little bit of a skip as well. So we're going to go with something overstable. I'm thinking MD5 and just throwing it low and flat and then letting it work towards the basket. This is probably the easiest hole in the course, but it can be a little sneaky. Like, that needs a huge skip. Okay, luckily this time of the year, that shot works, where I threw it way too low and early, and that thing skipped like 100 miles an hour. In the summer, when the grass is grown up, that just doesn't play. This ended up being a great result. That's why whenever the ground is allowing the skip, this hole is so much easier, because it just forgives a otherwise average throw. But good start, 2 for 2. Got to have them, so good to have them. Hole 3 is the last hole of this kind of opening turkey, we'll call it. Very fitting, because it's about to be Thanksgiving. If you're watching this, it already passed. But this is 248 feet. Left of the path is OB. Another just chip forehand. Not a super difficult shot. And like I said, this is the last kind of one. 3 through 3 is the start you're going to want to get to try to get to 12 under. So we're going to go with our Hunter Bird here. It's a nice forehand, nice and crisp. I think I might have left that a little short. Okay, got good action on the ground. That's giving me a tester, though. I need to throw that a little flatter than I just did. Yeah, I just didn't put enough mustard on that, and we just left ourselves with a look, but like, this is a poor shot on this hole. There's kind of three categories on this course. You have like the must-gets, which this is kind of in that category. These sort of like normal holes, and then the bonus birdies, which we'll get to next. So for a hole like this just being circle's edge is not good enough, especially when I'm not a great putter. I've got to put myself in a position to succeed, but we have a pretty straight look at it, just a little bit longer than we'd like. Oh man, just threw that way left. Way left. Goodness, trying to add a little more pace to the putt, and it has been a little bit sporadic. I'm just trying to work on throwing a putt with a bit more energy. This is the first of those bonus holes I mentioned. Hole 4. I don't know if you could hear that through my lab, but they are downing trees over there for construction, and that was the loudest thing I've ever heard. That was terrifying. This hole is 354 feet. What makes it difficult is you got OB right. That isn't super in play, but the entire creek OB left. You're throwing through a small window to start. You have to flip it up just enough that you're able to push forward, cruise towards the basket, but not skip too hard left. It's a demanding shot. I think that my Hurricane's the right disc. That won't flip up too much. It's about hitting this low ceiling, though, and getting the angle right. It's just a tricky shot. See, because that, oh, I got lucky there. That was a decent line, wrong angle. It was too much hyzer. It cut inside. I got lucky to miss the first tree. Hopefully I can get up and down, because you can take bogeys on this hole easily. Not too bad of a spot here. Just have to make sure we get up and down, because like I said, bogey in this challenge makes it almost insurmountable. But we just have a little flip forehand here. That's pretty well done. Right underneath the basket there. Tap out our par. Slower start than we would have wanted after getting the first 2 holes. 2 through 4 though, not the worst start in the world. I'm sure I'll have worse, but nothing to write home about either. It's kind of like expected pace for me. Hole 5 is another bonus birdie hole, mostly because of the shot's kind of demanding and far. You have obviously this left tunnel, but there's no real reason to throw that when you have this giant open field to the right, but it does mean you need to throw a very hard hyzer. I need to get the disc to flip up as well. I like to go Hurricane here. The key is to get it high enough, let it miss the line of trees, and I can't flip it over or else I could go long into the creek. So it's kind of a difficult shot because you're trying to air it out and really crush it without flipping it up too much and going into the creek long. Like that. That was thrown so low, that needs to get down in a hurry. Okay. Maybe saved by the tree. I mean, I just threw that 40 feet lower than I wanted to. It was a bad effort. I'm thinking this got pretty lucky because had I not hit this tree, I was going head over heels into the creek down here. I'm hoping that we caught. Nope. We're in the creek. That is out of bounds. That is the mistake not to make on this hole. I just tossed it up from where I was out of bounds down there, or where I went out of bounds, I should say. And yeah, it's that simple. That's how you can take a bogey really quick on this course and put yourself in a really bad spot. Even though I have taken bogey there and things look grim, you can't give up in this challenge because A, that's not how I'm working this challenge. I'm going to keep playing through, keep learning. But B, you can get hot at any point during the round out here at Sandusky and just start birdieing out. So you have to keep pushing. That does set us back to 1 under through 5, but back to 6. This is a one of the must-get holes. It's a wide open hyzer and an elevated basket, creek OB on the left, but it's a pretty easy shot. I like to throw my cash here, so I can throw it really hard. Just let it feed down the hill. See, that might have been too low. Not enough hyzer though. That's kind of the mistake we're making today. Throwing the disc a little too low. Not great. This ended up being okay. Like I said, this is one of the few courses where I do get pretty picky, where it's like, yeah, I'm 25 feet, but I'd like to be 10. But like, you got to make these, you know? These are putts that anytime we get this challenge, we will have to make these. Oh, that was just mean. The problem is I feel like I'm starting these putts from beneath the basket, where like that one, I'm not giving it a chance. I'm just relying on the pace of the putter to try and get it over the rim when I'm starting my putt here, when I need to be starting them here and letting them fall. That's another bad par, still 1 under. Trust me, we're gonna get better as the series goes, and I am, like I said, this course, you know, don't click off just because it feels like there's guys never gonna shoot 12 under. I have shot double digits here a couple times before. It is possible. It's just the difference between even par and 8 under can be very small. Hole 7 is another wide open hyzer, but it's a bit more difficult because it is 360 feet and it kind of ends on a hillside, so it's hard to control. You got to get the angle of this right. You got to land at the right spot. I'm gonna go time lapse, just take it wide and high and just really rip into it, because this is about max distance for me to throw a high hyzer. Oh, I flipped it over. That's poor. Come back a lot. Yeah, that was poor. That was poor. Just not really getting the disc right on that one. I needed something more stable if I was going to throw it at that angle, I guess. Distance ended up being okay on the shot, but just didn't get it left enough. Needed to keep that on hyzer. Stay up. Oh, decent line. I'm gonna have to turn putting into more of a weapon if I want to succeed out here. That putt didn't even feel good. We're just stuck on a par train right now. Got to get it moving. This is a fun hole here. Hole 8's downhill. Creek is behind the basket, just behind, 258 feet. The challenge here is to not get too scared and leave it short. Very easy to do. I like to go backhand slammer kind of right at it. Just have to get the distance right. Can't be too scared of going long. I gave it good height, but that disc just cannot be put on hyzer like that. Holy cow, that was awful. I just realized as I got here to tee of 9 that I forgot to record the rest of 8. You didn't miss anything. I pitched up and tapped out par. It's been a very slow start. For me to like at least play well out here, I have to be more precise with the drives, even if the putting doesn't work. So haven't had either of those. So at least we're not making more bogeys, but I want to get a few more birdies to kind of show a glimpse of hope in this round and try to turn it around a little bit, you know. Hole 9, uphill, 250 feet, kind of through that gap, and sits up on like a platform. It's a little bit of an intimidating shot. So I'm not great at the uphill shots. Let me go Hunter Bird here. Go left. Come on, be a Hunter Bird. Sit. That ended up okay. You get a lot of weird reactions up there by that green with all the stones there is. Of course, they might not be long, but it's a bit of a hike. Have points. A little annoyed this Thunderbird didn't go a little more left. So we're left with this awkward 30-footer. But hey, got to become a threat to the basket at some point, you know? Name of the game. More of a threat to my tripod than the basket there. Just another soft hyzer putt that stalls out like a jet driving straight into the sky. Really gotta fix that angle of release. Oh man. Hole 10 is really one of the last open holes we play for a while. After this, the course kind of changes to the woods, and we're in the woods until at least for a few holes. Then there's a break, and then a few more holes until the end of the course. So a lot more wood on the back. This hole is a 492-foot par 4. It is technically eagleable, but I won't really be playing it for eagle, I don't think. I think I'm just going to go with a passion up the middle. Yeah, that's what we want. That's not going to get us in trouble on this hole. I've maybe eagled this hole once or twice, but it really takes a super, super aggressive shot. And in most casual rounds, I'll go for it because why not? It's fun. And I think my rate of success is maybe 1 out of 10. So, you know, for me to deny myself an easy birdie by just throwing a passion or even a mid-range right up the gut and then just basically laying a putter up for birdie, it's probably not going to be the play, especially this early in the round. Maybe if I start to really like figure out what's required. And I'm like, okay, if I didn't start this well, I need an eagle, then maybe then I'll go that direction. But for now, we're trying to feel it out. Now, obviously, a major key to this par 4 strategy is making it a stress-free birdie after throwing the shorter drive. We only have about 120, 130 feet in probably. Just throw a little slammer under the basket. Or in the basket? Oh, that's right under it. That's a good shot. That's what we want. When we play this hole for birdie, let's make the birdie easy. Definitely not ideal for this to be our first birdie since hole 2. Not the best, but hey, we'll take it right now. So after that easy birdie, we have another easy birdie, hole 11 here. Only 180 feet. Just need to throw something on hyzer up the hill and let it feed to the basket. This is a must get for sure. Flip a little. Yeah, that got up there. That should be, like, you just have to get it up on the hill. All right, gotta make this. We gotta be making these putts. Gotta make this. There we go. That was better. That was a better stroke. All right. 2 birdies in a row. We're in a better sense of direction here. Maybe we'll shred the back. Now, hole 12 can kind of be the momentum killer on this back because it's only 240 feet, but it's this tight, weird anhyzer line that feels kind of lucky. It's very blind. And yeah, it's easy to get birdies going and have it stopped right here. Because realistically, you don't make a lot of birdies on this hole. The best play is to actually take something with some overstability like this cash and let it play on anhyzer so that it kind of pans out instead of just dumping right. That fits the line a little bit better. If you can see that kind of that front tree we're kind of looking at in the middle of the fairway there, that's kind of the corner we're trying to turn in front of that. Turn more. Okay. We hit something. That was definitely, I was pushing the wall too much. I was hoping to get lucky, but not the worst shot ever. Somehow I just got one of the better kicks I've ever gotten. I hit pretty early and I could tell it was kicking in a positive direction, but I must have missed everything through the woods to land here where I did. Like, that does not typically happen, but we've been gifted a 30, another just outside the circle putt probably right here. Let's make one count. Try to not throw it on a ton of hyzer. Flatter. Ooh. I got a little closer to the basket before I hyzered out to 25 feet. It's progress. All right. Yeah, this is a hole where, like, par actually isn't that frustrating, even though it's a short hole. Hole 13 is 270 feet. Only difficult for one reason, and that's depth perception and slope. Because you can maybe see the top of the basket from out there. It's just out there in the middle of a field, really, but it's on a downslope. The hole is just a progressive downslope after the initial flat. And it's so hard to get the distance right and get the disc to land in the right spot on this hole. Like, I've played it countless times and I have no clue when I've thrown a disc if it's short, 50 long, pin high. No clue. It is genuinely a mystery. Hard to believe. I like to go cash though and just throw it kind of wide. That's very short. I felt obligated to give that hyzer because if you've seen the matches I've played here with my brother, I would throw it flat and it would just go straight because of the hill drop. So that one went a bit left. I'll try to put in perspective for you kind of the follow of this fairway. You can see we're on flat ground, but as you see the basket pop up, it becomes a pretty steep downhill. So the one good thing about my hyzer there is it will have angle that'll let it get down the hill as it skips left, but it was probably still too left. But yeah, you can throw shots that end up back by that porta potty without even thinking. Ah, and look at this. A shot that I would have thought was close-ish to pin high is 45 to 50 short of the basket. I think it is clear enough to me at this point that we need to make everything we can. So we're gonna run this. Oh, ooh, I'm lucky I caught bands. That was going into the creek. By the way, guys, let me know if you were able to pick up any of the Black Friday stuff that went down on Foundation's website. If you were able to get my new cash, if it's sold out, if it isn't sold out, if you want to, you can go pick it up now. All right, hole 14, 237 feet, not super difficult. There is OB long. But I usually just kind of throw my rock on a slight turning shot here. That's pretty good. Yeah, that is the idea. For whatever reason, there's so many more holes difficult than this one, hole 14. And I haven't always felt this way about this hole, but lately, I just like know I'm gonna birdie when I walk up. Sometimes you hit that last wall of trees and get unlucky, but that shot shape of that like left to right, just slight left to right with my rock, it's like automatic for me on this hole. It just fits the eye really well. But none of that matters unless we can make this. There we go. All right, I'm getting a little more confident, at least on those like 20 footers. So that's good. We're starting to play a little better on this back nine. I'm glad we're turning it around a little bit. 15 is the first of 2 consecutive dog legs. This one dog legs to the right. It's a pretty simplistic hole, but it gives me trouble a lot. Basically, the premise is it's a huge drop off on the right. So you don't want to go early. You're trying to make it around the corner and then land in a ditch in front of the basket. You'll see why the green's kind of tricky. We're just going to go slammer. We just have to hit this corner and let the disc coast down there. That's too far up on the hill. It needs a good skip. Decent skip. Yeah, too low, so it's not, didn't make it to the ditch. That's not too bad. Realistically, we needed to go about 25, 30 more feet to get where we want it to be. And this run is just kind of silly because it's so downhill and so dangerous. And we're going to hyzer as always. It's just another tap in par. You can't really attack this basket unless you get onto that, into that ditch. You can see here, just kind of this big ravine. That's where you want to land because the island green, well, not really an island, but it's very skinny and tricky. Really not throwing disastrous shots today other than the one that went OB, but yeah, not scoring a ton. 16 is the second of the dog legs I had mentioned. This one's a little gimmicky. It's like this like sawed off, choppy hyzer, 230 feet. There's like a big wall of trees. You're trying to cut left. Not a great hole, but if thrown correctly, it seems to be somewhat fair. And that was bad throw. And a pretty lucky result. Gonna roll a little bit. Yeah, not a good throw. Can't expect much from that. Yeah, this ended up super fortunate for where this drive was thrown, but I've got nothing but a forehand like flick putt from here, which is deserved. Hit it. I've never made one of those in my entire life. I swear. That was butter straight into the bottom of the basket. Oh my gosh. Okay, well, that was a bit of a present getting the birdie there. I believe we're at 5 under now, 5 or 6. Hole 17, this is another very easy hole, and this is a tempting one because this is 350 feet uphill, par 4. It is very scoreable. I've eagled it a number of times, but there is OB long and right with the road that goes by. So you do have to, kind of similar to the one I threw OB earlier, I have to get some flip out of a disc, but not all the flip out of a disc. We're gonna go with the Hurricane again, because this one's uphill. It's a different shot. And I do have to get it to flip, or I will not get there. I did the same thing. That's too low though. That won't make it to the road, but just pulled it low and wide again. Well, I'm proven wrong. I did make it out of bounds. I gotta say, for me to throw that long OB, from my experience on this hole, I zipped that thing. Holy smokes. Well, we have to take an OB stroke here and throw a little upshot. I think the theme today is that I'm really ripping it good, but I'm just throwing it in the wrong direction. Since this hole is a par 4, that is a tap out for my par, but obviously on this hole, pretty unforgivable. Not great. Okay, we've made it to 18. Bit of a bumpy ride, but we've played better on the back until that hole. So we managed to scrape together hopefully enough of a score that you get the idea that I'm sure you've noticed I'm not playing great today, and I've still managed to climb a bit under par. 18 is a fun finishing hole, 220 feet, straight away. It's small gap. A lot of times the play is to leave it low, skip up the hill up towards the basket. Heck, Hunter aced it that way at one point. AB rock here. Oh, that's a beauty of a line. It's going to be long. Hit the bush. Yeah. The mid's a little aggressive if you throw it high like that. I'm probably in the parking lot. Lucky for us, the bush slowed us down. We're in play, but we are putting from behind a bush. Got to lob it up there. I don't know if this is even possible to make. How fitting to miss that left. Well, that's going to do it for our round. Not the worst result. That to me was actually a good sign that I feel like I played quite poor, even in relation to what my skill level is at the moment. And to skill scrape, I think I was 5 or 6 under. Scorecard will be here. Is not too bad. I think that should hopefully show you with the amount of putts that you just saw me miss, the amount of drives on easy holes that I threw in worse spots than I should have. Hopefully that's a little teaser into this series, and I think it's gonna be a lot of fun. Let me know in the comments below if you enjoy this, if you're looking forward to it. I think personally this is going to be a really exciting challenge, and I think the 18-hole format makes it that much more exciting. So I'm really looking forward to continuing with it. But I will see you next time. Be there on Monday.